Welcome back. Welcome to Jog Your Mind. What are we? Episode 8, episode 9. I'm honestly a little out of it at the moment. Trying to put together a great episode for you guys. We have a ton going on. Some really exciting stuff I want to share with you guys, but I can't quite share it yet. I can't tell you how hard it is to have something really cool that I want to share with you guys that I have to keep kind of bundled up. And super excited, especially for our local athletes, to hear about this, learn about this. So we're going to continue to keep that under wraps for just a little bit. But I figured I would do an episode that I love to do every season when we get to this place. This is the toughest part of the season, and it's not because it's the separation of the wheat and the chaff. It's difficult because it's been a long season. Some of you guys have been racing once a week, twice a week. Some of you guys have gone every other week. Some of you guys, this is a brand new thing that are listening to this. And I think more than anything, what I want you guys to understand is that these are big races and it's a big deal. It doesn't matter if you only make it out of regionals or you only make it out of league, or, you know, for some of you guys, it's conference and then some sort of middle race and then state. These next 3 races are all layers of escalation. And they test us on more than just our fitness. It's about how we deal with pressure. It's about how we deal with the unknown. And the unknown, less about time and more about performance and being able to separate ourselves from the noise and the distraction. I was talking with one of my athletes this week, and quite often I'll have something that I'll walk away with and go, I want to say that in that next episode. And it was 2 words. It was carry on. This isn't a Kansas song. But the idea of carry on and just not getting stuck here. Sometimes we have a bad race right before we go into the championship season. Whether it's coming off a homecoming or anything, maybe we didn't have our best performance. And I think what's really important here is to look at the stock of all that you've built so far. This is where it gets really important, being able to take that step back and refocus and say, all right, yep, that was a tough race. And I love the Ted Lasso mentality of being a goldfish and having a really short memory. But what I want to really kind of dig into today is that how do we manage going into those big races, and how do we face a hard future? You know, the idea of a hard future, comes from a really great idea that we don't know what that future looks like. And quite often our brain puts it into a hard place. But I've got a couple things that I think can really help with that. I think when we go into big races, there's a couple things I want you guys to focus in on. First of all, it's easy to get overwhelmed and feel like that you're racing at risk. If that's something that resonates with you, go back to Shannon Thompson's episode from earlier this season. She talks about the idea that you need to look at racing as gathering really great moments versus trying to race not to lose. There's a really big difference about, racing to win and putting out your best effort. Doesn't mean actually winning, but racing with the mentality of this positive, upward, uplifting look at things versus, God, I hope I don't do bad. And when we get into the championship season, all of a sudden everything becomes at risk. And those that race the best tend to see that they have the least to lose. Because at the end of the day, you don't really have anything to lose in this. Maybe I take a fatalistic approach as a coach and as a human, but I believe that what's meant for you is meant for you. And what you just need to do is go out there and give it your best shot. And if you fall flat on your face, literally or figuratively, that's okay, because you're going to walk away learning something. It doesn't matter if it's your freshman year or your senior year. What's meant for you is meant for you, and you move on. Focus on what's right in front of you. Like I said, let it come to you. Let it ride, be loose, be fast, be free. When you're racing not to lose, you're racing in this really restricted kind of stifled position. And I watch a lot of people just get really in their head. As someone that just gets to stand on the sidelines for a lot of these fall cross country races, I can see the people who are just there, kind of vibing, enjoying the moment. And I see the people that are overthinking it. Their eyes are wider and they're really feeling every step. And not that I don't want you guys to feel every step and be in the moment, but that moment shouldn't be overwhelm. If there ever was a time to focus on sleep and nutrition, it's the next month, it's the next 3 weeks. Naps and calories are pretty much superpowers at this point. A lot of you guys are like, oh, I don't like to nap. I promise you, if you actually turn your phone into do not disturb, you put some headphones in to some quiet music or a podcast or whatever, and you were going to lay on your bed and close your eyes, I promise you, set a timer for 20 to 25 minutes. You'll wake up, even if you just did nothing, but try and quiet your mind and listen to that podcast or relax and breathe for 20 minutes. It's not a useless 20 minutes. It's going to help you downregulate. It's going to help you engage your parasympathetic nerve system. It's going to help everything feel a little bit easier and a little bit looser. That's a superpower. Trust me. Take a break from socials. This is that time. I know a lot of people want to look at rankings. This is where those things get really dangerous. You'll have a race winner, a thing like that, and you'll go, okay, this now ups my stock, or this puts me in this place. The reality is that you just need to go into the race as if it was another race. It doesn't matter if you're ranked 18th or 1st. The only thing that's going to come out of that is pressure to stay in that position. And at the end of the day, if you didn't know that it was there, it probably wouldn't change how you'd race. And if anything, the knowledge of that can really only hurt you and apply pressure to you. And so I'll give you guys some great words that have helped fuel a number of my athletes over the years. Pressure is a privilege. And understanding that when you are at the front of a race or you're ranked up there, it's great. And it's a privilege to have that pressure that's placed upon you. But that privilege also kind of goes along with it that you have to be able to handle that pressure and that privilege. And hopefully you got there with a good, solid understanding and a good base of support. If you didn't, that's okay. And sometimes pressure can eat us alive. But I wanted to kind of give you guys a look at that hard future, because being eaten alive by pressure definitely looks like a hard future. I think really just be ready to go in and realize that you're going to deal with change. Whether you don't make it out of the regional, the league, or the state meet, or even to the state meet, that's okay. This may be something that you've had as a huge goal. I want you guys to think about how do you respond to something versus react, and think about how you would respond to not making it. And when do you deal with that information? Because if you're someone that says, oh man, I just moved from, 17th to 18th. Well, I'm out of this thing. You might do bad math in the middle of a race. Turns out we're not great under pressure doing complicated math. But that's a reaction to moving, and there's racing left to be done. The only reaction that you can have is after the race is done. You need to learn how to respond. So that's kind of point number one. Respond versus react in the race, especially afterwards. When we deal with change, we really have kind of like 4 main choices, and pardon the crinkle of my paper here. It is 6:30 in the morning, trying to get you guys out an episode. Really the first thing that we can do is deny that it's going to go well, and that this shouldn't happen to me. And this is somewhere that people get stuck a lot, is that, I don't deserve to be here. And they are feeling like a fraud on the start line. And then when that gets brought up, or, they kind of feel that, their first place that they go is anger. And especially when we're presented with evidence. That is why I tell you guys, don't look at the rankings. You may be pushed out of the rankings. Think, that might piss you off a little bit, or your team is pushed out. And that's just a waste of energy. So again, get off the socials, stop looking at the rankings now. Just be in the moment. And if your coach tells you about it, great. But you know what? It's just information. Move on with it. That's the best advice I can give you. The second piece here is that we can quite often give up. And this one sucks. I've watched this happen in races. I've watched this happen in really big races. I've watched the race leader in cross country fold it up with a huge lead because the pressure got to them. And I want you guys to understand that whether it's overwhelm or pressure, we can take a powerless position and stop trying. And that's really, really tough. And this is why I tell you guys, think about how you want to respond when you feel that emotion. Like, oh man, what if it feels like too much? Carry on. And that's why those words were so powerful for me. And this isn't coming from an athlete that's going to win a state championship. This is coming from an athlete that works their butt off just to make varsity on their team. But that mentality of being able to carry on and not let it frustrate you, whether it's something that doesn't go your way the first mile or you don't hit your split, you just keep moving on. Don't let it live there. Don't let it fester. That's the worst thing you can do. The second piece here is to try to grab for control. Deny, give up, control, like all of these things kind of have a central theme. And I think what you have to do is don't underestimate your power or your training at this point. When we think about control, you can hold back that like floodgate of like fear and emotion for a really long time. But I promise you that eventually it will come out. And the hope is that that doesn't come out in the middle of a race or just before the race. That control element is also kind of relinquishing the fact that you don't have any control. You don't know if you're going to fall in the middle of a race. You don't know how everybody else is going to race. And so it's not worth spending your energy trying to control the situation, the moment, or the energy even around it. All you can do is worry about yourself and how you're going to show up. I know I told you guys a few weeks back that you are only responsible for how people receive things, not how they respond to them. The same goes for you, is you have to choose what you are receiving and understand how you're going to respond. And this is about what information you're choosing to take in. If you go on Instagram going and looking at, who's here, who's there, you're probably going to go find some disappointment and get pretty frustrated about it. So again, best effort. If you find yourself as someone who reacts to those things, don't even give yourself the bait. The last thing here, the word I've used a lot today, respond. You guys have to be resilient, and especially on the start line. Responders can see the situation and they can experience it and go in with a knowledge and realize that their knowledge has an impact. And even if it's a comfort of like, I've been here before, and this isn't your first time at the state start line. And if it is, it's just another start line. And that's the thing that you have to understand is that when you're in these moments, look at them one at a time. A lot of people get that overwhelmed feeling right now, right here in the season, because they're already looking at 2-3 steps ahead. This is the puzzle in the game that needs your focus and attention right here. I know I tell you guys, look long-term a lot. This is one of those times we're going to fix our gaze on what's right in front of us, because if we don't take care of what is right in front of us right now, that thing long-term will disappear very quickly. Focus on what's important right here in front of you. So I'll say it again. Sleep, food, water, sleep all the time. Protect your energy, protect your emotional energy, and most importantly, limit the things that can be energy expenders, both emotional and physical. And that's really the best advice I have as you guys go into these next kind of tenuous weeks. Take your time to relax, take time to enjoy genuine friendships, get off the phone, and just be in the moment. These are the best and most amazing moments, especially for my seniors that are out there. This is the last cross-country season for some of you guys. Enjoy it, soak it in, and most importantly, make the most of it. Have fun. With that said, I'm going to end this episode here. I hope this wasn't too long of a ramble for some of you guys early in the morning. Pardon the gravelly voice. But with all that we have going on here, I'm hoping this isn't the last episode for this season. I'm hoping I can get out 1 or 2 more amidst the chaos, but they may be a little more raw like this. Shot on the phone, recorded over here. With that said, I'll see you guys in the next episode, wherever that is. See ya.